Well, first of all, thanks for having me on your show, you guys. This is awesome. This is the inaugural show of the Wisdom Factory, and it's amazing to see you guys putting this together as a couple, which is such a beautiful
Actually,
dynamic.
I only came out being an independent person when I met Heidi around, I don't know how many years ago, but at that time I started not only the magazine of the Integrale Forum, but also the female integral field of consciousness. And I hoped that these women would sort of empower each other. And up to that time, I was a housewife, I was a mother, I was a translator, but I never figured out how we could get females and women to the front. Yeah, women have a different approach to the integral theory as well. That was my opinion. And so I wanted to put that into practice. The way Lisa and Mia, the way they just talk, Native Americans, I just envy them, because it's a much easier going way of approaching communication than an Austrian or a German would.
When I realized that that wasn't really what I wanted to do, and I got into personal training and coaching, that was resisted a little bit by my mom. I didn't care that she resisted. I was just going to do it anyways. So for me, I never felt like I had anyone telling me that I couldn't, and if someone told me that I couldn't, I didn't really care. And in terms of like going up the ladder, I just never had, I guess that experience was around me, but I never saw it that way. From my perspective, I just always saw myself as an equal with all the men around me. I didn't care. Again, I think maybe that's just part of who I am. I'm like, I don't care. You can't tell me what to do. I'm just going to do it. I think that maybe that was part of my generation, yeah, but maybe just part who I am as well.
Yes, it's an enormous difference, because I've been married now for 55 years, and we were in the States in the 70s. But all we did was bring up our 2 children. So
I'm just a blonde version of Lisa. That's all there is to it. Because the 70s. It really was like such a unique time to grow up. So I don't know if I was never told that I couldn't do it, but I was never told that I could do it. So I think the discussion that we're having really is contingent on a couple different things. One is, yeah, what era were you in? What part of where were you born in the world? So what was that like? And then what were your parents like? It's been interesting as an adult now with social media to talk to people that are my age and see what that experience was like back then, because you didn't share it. I did start off my career as an insurance agent. I was an insurance agent by the time I was 18. I didn't go to college. I was not encouraged to go to college, and I just happened to get this job when I was in high school at an insurance agency, and that was my first career. I was really loved. I always gravitated towards these male-driven industries, because that was at the time too. So, but the leadership thing, just like being an entrepreneur, it was accidental, and I really didn't start even looking at any kind of leadership role until about 12 years ago, when I decided for some odd reason I wanted to get into local politics, and because I just was not really shown. I saw a lot of leadership women, but Lisa, think about like the first women that we saw in movies in leadership was like Working Girl, and yeah. that wasn't complimentary in a way. It always showed women in leadership as ball busters, and out to stomp on other women. So we really didn't have a lot of great role models, at least from a social aspect.
Oddly enough, Heidi, you would be interested to know that how leadership entered my life was through music and my study of music. So that experience of those years of study with this man actually informed how I ended up later showing up, not only in my work as a coach, but then, recently as a Hangout host.
And then when I studied, I didn't like the studies which I did. And then my father said, "You are only a woman." I took over leadership in the moment when I took over a choir to lead. And what I learned as a solo singer, I then could use very well to stand in front of a choir and lead other people. And really into leadership, to be visibility is only in the moment when I decided to do these shows, you know, to give up perfectionism.
I really would like to know from Lisa and Mia, have you ever considered yourself to be the top or a cornerstone?
I think it depends on what you're talking about, because right now I wear 2 different hats. So
do I consider myself at the top or a cornerstone? And that's an interesting question because I don't look at it like that. I have a different perspective. So I don't see myself as a top or a cornerstone. I see myself as a unique part of the entire whole that's absolutely necessary and needed.
It could be that you are the cornerstone, and you like Lisa being a coach, you've built everybody up, Buttercup, around you, and so you're sort of the cornerstone, and somebody else is taking the lead, or so at the top. It depends on the time. Then other times you could be teaching something and you're the leader, and and sort of running the show. So I think
that still, we women, we have all the possibility to go out, take over leadership.
I want to step up and challenge that for a second, Heidi, because we have to honor the fact that as women, we have the capacity to hold a space sometimes a lot better than men. And I think the time will come when we'll see that shift happen, but not to play down the fact, or maybe that the success of that Success Summit probably wouldn't have been a success without the women who are there behind it. But let's think about this. Our social structure is essentially based on agreements, both conscious and unconscious. There are male qualities and female qualities, right? And neither of them are very appealing in those lower levels, right, in the spiral dynamics.
Because a lot of times with women in leadership, it ends up being that somebody has to be squelched, right? And again, I'm going back to that thing. I love this equitable, that me being in leadership doesn't mean I've got my foot on somebody else's neck.
Yeah.
You can empower men as well, if you are really a powerful
Exactly.
woman.
But it's not, putting them down. It just happens to be this woman that's talking to men doing that thing. So it's a balance.
I do think it is a difference of age.
When I listen to Lisa, the way she's sure of herself, we never were that sure, but somehow something in us, it was a sort of trance. I never was afraid. It was just natural to me because that was my creative contribution.
Where are we going? What motivates you? What inspires you?
I think for all of us, it is about living in purpose, and what I figured out is live large and have fun. And when I'm doing that, it just elevates and brings everybody up around me. And that
you have to be centered, and you have to be in contact with your creativity. I have 3 grandchildren, and with them, it's natural to be always on edge because they come from they come from the future.
For me, I guess my intention is just to live as fully and as joyfully as I can, moment by moment, in my unique self-expression, to use that unique self-expression to be in service to the awakening of human and social potential.